do you think, Etienne?
Perfect likeness, if I do say so myself.
Well, I try to be very good, you know. I have a reputation to uphold. You know, I find this very interesting. I'm 58 years old. 58 years old, and this is the first time in my whole life that I have taken a chance and grown a beard. What do you think? Do I look like a true mountaineer?
It is a magnificent beard.
Magnificent. Patriarchal. Like something from the Bible. I think I will keep it. At least until I get home and my wife says I have to shave. Anyway, I would keep it for now. Speaking of my wife, I think we should go home. I know that we started for the mountains. We're going to go all the way to the Rocky Mountains, and we're going to document all of these quadrupeds. I'm through with ornithology. I would now do quadrupeds. And at this point, I have found 14 new birds and only 4 quadrupeds. I'm very disappointed in this.
Well, perhaps you'll find a few more on the way downriver.
Well, possibly. But how can... downriver, we need to talk about that. The Union, this boat we're building,
Yes.
it is 8 feet wide and 40 feet long, and there will be 14 of us. Will there be plenty of room, you think? Because I think not so much.
Well, you know, if you weren't carrying so many of those taxidermy stuffed animals that you have, perhaps there'd be more room.
I think 8 by 40 is plenty. That would be big enough. Oh, by the way, Mr. Chardon has promised to catch me a live swift fox to take home.
No, that will be quite a feat. I'd like to see him try to catch a swift fox. I bet he has the boys from the Mandans out looking for one.
As long as I get a swift fox, I do not care. I think maybe I will give it to the Zoological Gardens in New York. What do you think of that? Huh?
I'm sure that would impress him.
That would be wonderful. Speaking of impressed, you know what impressed me? Mr. Culbertson allowed me to peruse his journals. And I transcribed a long passage from 1834. It was the Crows, and there was much fighting and very authentic, much facts involved. It was wonderful. And not that trashy stuff that Catlin published. Not like that.
I take it you're not fond of Catlin.
Did the trashy part confuse you? I do not like Mr. Catlin. He is a hack. There. That would be wonderful. You know, did you see Mrs. Culbertson when she took those men and they put the dresses on and painted their faces up, looked like Indian women?
Oh, yeah, who can forget that?
Riding across the prairie like a bunch of Indian women with their hair flying and their faces painted. Oh, it was grand. I had a great time with that.
You ought to paint that.
Maybe I could do that. Maybe I could do that. But back to this trip home. Do you think the hunters are prepared? I mean, if they're not very good, we won't eat.
Well, I'm coming along as well, but they've improved greatly since they first came up here. Why, I remember taking Bell and Harris up the Yellowstone. LaFleur and I were going to escort them on there, and they were taking so much. I couldn't believe all the objects they were taking. Their horse was so loaded down it could hardly walk. Now me, I took one blanket. I took my tin cup. What more does a man need?
What if LaFleur? What did he take?
LaFleur, the only thing he took was a bottle of whiskey. We'd share the blanket, and I'd load him the tin cup.
Wait. You share the blanket?
That's how we keep warm up here.
One blanket and 2 men.
We travel light in this country.
I do not consider that to be appropriate, but in the East, 1 man to 1 blanket is the way that works. Of course, there are not so many women here, so maybe, I don't know. Speaking of women, Etienne, can I confide in you?
Of course.
recently I've been having dreams, terrible, terrible dreams about my son, and more importantly, not importantly, but more often, dreams of something terrible happening to my wife. And I cannot get this out of my mind.
You know, I've been in the mountains for 20 years, no more than 20 years. And I have learned that the Indians set great store by dreams, and you should pay attention to them.
It is settled. The moment that the union is finished, we pack and we go. We?
Sounds like a capital idea.
To the union.
To the union.
Hmm.